Welcome to the second Forum on Environment and Climate Change 2025, organized by Embrace the Earth. My name is Ella Memnouri. I am an environmental programs and project officer at Embrace the Earth, and I'll be moderating this session. Today, Jyothi Gupta will be giving a presentation called Urban Resilience and Green Infrastructure. Firstly, I'd like to introduce Jyothi Gupta. She is an architect, geospatial data scientist, and associate professor at the School of Architecture, Srice University. She was awarded the Karnataka Women's Leadership Award 2025 by the Government of Karnataka and recognized as a Global Smart Cities Champion 2021 by the World CSR Congress. With over 19 years of experience in architecture, engineering, and construction industry, Jyothi has made significant contributions to both academia and practice. She published her first Scopus Index textbook with the London-based publisher Routledge, Taylor and Francis Group, titled Sustainability and Urban Quality of Life, Research, Policy, and Practice. Her research and innovation credentials include 1 published patent and 3 published copyrights through the IPR cell. Jyothi holds a BArch from BMS College of Engineering, an MArch from UVC College of Engineering, and a PGD in Smart Cities and Urban Analytics from University College London's Bartlett Centre for Advanced Spatial Analysis, CASA, UK. Thank you very much, Jyothi, for being here today and sharing your knowledge about urban resilience and green infrastructure. The floor is yours to begin your presentation.
Thank you so much, Noora, for this wonderful introduction. I would thank the Embrace the Earth and the whole team, voluntary team, to consider me as a resource person and consider me as a part of it. So I'll be sharing my screen now. And the topic that I selected for today's presentation is urban resilience through green infrastructure. Though the topic is more connected to how I actually will be working on urban resilience. So how the urban resilience with regard to green infrastructure in smart cities, smart technology, and sustainable cities. We are all aware about the communities around the world which are experiencing really devastating impact on extreme weather and climate changes. Whether I talk about earthquakes, whether I talk about flood, whether I talk about uncertainty with regard to the ocean management, or there's a tsunami, and there is a lot of disruption that has been happening. Whether we are talking about our earth, in what way are we making our earth clean? In what way are we making our earth more sustainable? Now, these are the few examples I would like to show you all. And I would like to say that it's important for all of us to understand that we are deteriorating. Our earth is actually damaging because there's a lot of plastic around us. There is, on the lake, we are getting the building construction, the materials that we use is more of non-reusable, and also there is less of agriculture, less of vegetation, less of oxygen, and more of carbon dioxide. Net zero emission, that is the target by Paris Agreement. So there is a lot of crisis that's happening around us. So I came up with this buzzword. What is this sustainability? Where are we going in it? Are we actually getting development across sustainability? And in what way are we progressing? So sustainable development, as defined by United Nations, it talks about how the development needs to be in the present environment, and in what way are we getting the future generation to meet our own needs. These are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Now, Sustainable Development Goals are the main key criteria for sustainability. Now, when I say it's a main key criteria, I would like to highlight here that sustainability not only talks about climate, but it also parts in many other aspects of sustainability. Let's talk about the first sustainability goal, that is no poverty. Are we just looking for the earth? Are we just thinking about our nature? We should also think about people. So we need to the first important SDG goal is no poverty. We need to ensure that people live with dignity. People have a good standard of living. We need to ensure that there is no poverty being entertained around the world. I'm not saying only my country, I would say around the world. Zero hunger. Hunger is the main part of our life. Food, with what we get energy, with what we get support, with what we get recycle. That's more important. So in what way our earth is being supported by zero hunger? We need to raise flag that food is important. We should not waste food. People who have money, they waste food, and people who cannot accommodate themselves with 3 times of meals, having sleeping on the roadside, who is not able to control themselves and their family. So that is what we need to concentrate. Goal number 3, good health and well-being. How is the health factor being taken care? I would like to rewind ourselves when we all were in a mode wherein we all were stuck with COVID-19, wherein we all were locked in our room. We were being in a situation wherein we were not able to communicate. We were not able to connect. Why? Because of there is a virus that is spread around us. And when the virus treatment was there, it was health, well-being. There was no proper nutrition. There was less of treatment places. There is less of hospitals. In what way are we taking care of the healthcare system? That's more important. Quality education. Now, when I talk about quality education, we all need to think about quality education in a regard that we consider education to be there for everyone, from the urban area to the rural area, from the tier 1 city to the tier 3 and tier 4 cities. Gender equality. Now there is a trend that both male and female get equal pay in a company. When we talk about gender equality, we talk about how the various aspects of male and female have a both tendency to get in the same pot. So this is the few things that I've highlighted. The SDG goals definitely talks on climate action. It talks about sustainable cities. It talks about peace. It talks about life on land, life under the water, and various other clean energy and sustainability. Now, when I get into the sustainability aspects, we need to all focus on where are we trending now and what is our future goal. Now, in presently 2025, the latest data that I have collected from United Nations is what is the tendency, like how have we meet the target? Now, the goal number 1, as I was mentioning about no poverty, or goal number 2, that is what I was talking about, zero hunger. Whether I talk about sustainability or whether I talk about quality education, whether I talk about peace, strong institution, or the green energy. And you see the variation in the color, which shows the green, that is the positiveness, that is we are on the target. The orange color, which shows the moderate progress or the marginal progress, and then comes the red. Red is scary because it shows stagnation, it shows regression, and how are we actually facing all this criteria that we need to focus on. I have a small video which shows about how sustainability plays a major role in understanding all these major technologies. 8 practices that we all can work in.
What is sustainability? According to UCLA, sustainability is the integration of environmental health, social equity, and economic vitality. The overall goal of sustainability is meeting present-day needs while not depleting future resources. Here are 8 sustainable practices you can lead in the workplace. 1. Save energy by turning off lights when not in use. You can utilize motion detecting sensors to turn lights on when needed, provide signage for employees to turn off lights when not in use, or have timed lights for office hours. 2. If the business provides promotional materials or swag to vendors and employees, opt for recyclable tote bags or stainless steel tumblers with reusable straws. 3. If your office is in a city, encourage public transportation or bikes for those that live nearby with secure places to place their bikes. 4. Encourage more paperless opportunities. Instead of printing off agendas for meetings, try the documents with all attendees through email. 5. Create volunteer opportunities for employees to go green. Various environmental causes need volunteers, including beach cleanups or restoration of local parks. 6. Contact a waste management vendor to create a recycling program for everyone at work to use. 7. Eliminate all non-recyclable dishware, including coffee cups, and install an energy-efficient dishwasher. 8. Provide eco-friendly snacks like apples, bananas, and oranges, rather than plastic packaged bags of processed snacks. Why is sustainability important? If harmful non-sustainable practices are in use, it's more than likely that we will all run out of sources like fossil fuels, damage the ecosystem for current species, and create irreparable damage to the atmosphere. While donating to environmental causes is beneficial and much appreciated, we must also adopt these practices to make a difference in our future. It's not too late to make changes for your future and future generations.
So with this, you see where we are standing. Now, if you see the earlier thing, that is how our Earth is shrinking in 1900 and where we see ourselves 2020, 30, and then 2050. So if you can see year hectare of land per capita. So this is where the challenges that we all are going through. Then I would like to focus on, as the Earth is shrinking, are we actually making some benefit? No, we are increasing population. The world is growing. There is development happening, but the Earth is shrinking. In this, what are we actually trying to understand the growth? Let's focus on the 5 C's of sustainability. The first C talks about cleanliness. The second C talks about community. Then the third C talk about culture. Then C, care. And the last one is corporate governance. So this, as committed by United Nations, talks about clean, whether I'm talking about energy, reducing waste, or minimizing carbon footprint. Community, inclusivity, the mutual support that we can gather. The culture, what is the techniques, what is the farming technology, the agriculture, care, definitely, as I mentioned, the healthcare. And finally, the corporate governance in overall how we actually go through and understand the process. Now let's see, where are we leading? As mentioned, the need of sustainability. How are we reducing the carbon dioxide emission? Now, coming from my country, India, Delhi is the higher AQI throughout the world. Where are we? We don't have a fresh air to breathe. We cannot see the sky because there is a cloud of polluted air available. So this is what's happening. There is waste, there is slums, there is garbage that is being included in the system. Now, this study, I actually wanted to focus on 3 main aspects of sustainability. Now, whether I talk about the ecosystem, I talk about the reforestation, how I talk about the forest creation in unusable areas, the river restoration, the wetland restoration, the protection and expansion of natural and semi-natural areas, the increased connectivity, the species transformation, and finally the natural fire regime restoration. So in what way, what are the impacts? What is the adaptations and what is the biodiversity that we all are focusing on? So you see the lighter green, what we can do the mitigation, and what is the impact, that is the darker green that is being focusing on. So what is happening in our Earth? Basically, we, the human, are responsible for global warming. People are experiencing climate change in diverse ways, whether I talk about floods, I talk about earthquake, I talk about COVID. I think these all are impact of climate change. What are we facing? We have a target of net zero. There is a statement that is allocated for Paris agreement that we have been challenging to target net zero. We are reducing, and our country is given a target of 2070. So this is a huge challenge, and we all know the solution. What is the outcome? As I mentioned, the Paris Agreement. I mentioned the United Nations Framework on Climate Change, Sustainable Development Goals. So these are all the solutions that we all need to all work together, because we all need to work together. We all need to go hand in hand. Then only we can focus on all these aspects. Or it's trust me, it is not easy to actually get into the aspects of sustainability. Just a minute. Next, what are we doing? We are actually trying to pay bills. We pay for our future. So in the coming time, and if you'd see how the situation is turning out, our planet is nothing but a garbage. We are actually throwing out, but we are not doing it out. We are getting it built up inside, and this is what will be the problem for all of us in future. What will be the solution? I think water cycling is the most important part that we all need to focus on. How are we actually formulating the groundwater infiltration? We are evaporations from oceans, lakes, and streams. What is the process of condensation, the transpiration from plants, and finally the precipitations? Now, when I talk about that, this is what's happening. This is the plan that is there. Spot the differences. Now, when I say spot the differences, I would like to see where was the transpiration, where was the filtration, and where was the runoff in a forest, in a landscape area. And now we are doing a parking area. We have cut everything. So there is no infiltration. The transpiration is happening from the road, that is a solid surface, and the runoff is huge. What is the altered climate cycle? Now, when I talk about altered climate cycle, I talk about the natural water cycle, the evaporation, the transpiration, the condensation, the evaporation, the runoff, the constantly flowing streams, the soil, the infiltration, the loss of infiltration, the groundwater, the rockness, the bedrock. There is no rainwater that's happening. So that is why the urban water cycle has been created in such a way that there is no infiltration. The groundwater is getting dried. The rainwaters had dried up. There is no rainfalls happening. The clouds have disappeared because our city has been growing, and this is what's the main criteria for the water cycle. Where is the watershed? Why is this uncertainty that's happening? Please concentrate on this slide. I would say that this slide shows how the city has been growing, whether I'm talking about the city streets, I'm talking about the suburban development, the wastewater management, or the rural areas. Now, this needs to be connected with the cropland, the animal feedrick, and the factories. Now, all this decomposes in the river water, the rainwater, the river water, the lakes, the water body that passes through the river. It get diluted, and that is the water that we are drinking. It's a drinking water, and this is how it will lead to storm water disaster. This is how the snow melt shall happen. This is how the runoff may be created, and this is where the flow can be created in regard to creating parking lots. There is no water in the ground, which will lead to pollution, whether it's point source or non-point source. Now let's concentrate on bioretention, or the rain garden. With the increased infiltration and increased transpiration, what is the main rain gardens that is being working out? The rain garden soil mix, the overflow lower, then the inflow, or the level unlined bottom. This is all the main focus on the gutter downstop, the mulch layer, or the ponding depth that is we all have been analyzing. Now, the bioretention gardens, or the rain gardens that I talk about, it is actually given a solution for infiltration. It is more engineering system. It is more a system which has an outlet, and it is more simple while calculation. The entry level or the do-it-yourself can be more advanced. Now let's talk about the planter box. Now we need to ensure that we have bits and pieces of greenery around us. If we can have planter box placed in each and every places, whether I talk about a place that we are working or we are living or we are having passed by, the roadways with the parking areas, increase the number of planter box, have it more simple and engineered. Whether I talk about the inlet or whether I talk about the soil, the outlet part, we need to be more simple while planning this, whether it can be moderate or whether it can be more advanced. So this is also a very important part to have a planter box that's been planned. Now comes the main part of the session today: green infrastructure. Green infrastructure is the place that we try to create the resilience of the city. Now, when there is a damage that's been occurred, how are we giving a solution towards it? What is the runoff? What is the increased transpiration? In what way are we reducing the energy cost? We are increasing the structural longevity. We have been making more engineered system, whether it's regard to the extensive on the lesser rooting system or an intensive, which is having a higher growth. So we need to create a soil, we need to have a weightage, and we can have different kinds of vegetation. Whether I talk about mosses, I talk about herbs, I talk about grasses, I talk about shrubs, I talk about lawn, I talk about perennials, I talk about small trees. So these are the maintenance kind, whether we need to maintain it periodically, we need to maintain it regularly, and we need to see the solution towards it. I have a small video which talks about green infrastructure and which can actually add to the solution to the problems. Okay. Urban resilience. Urban resilience, as the name suggests, it's talk about the capacity of individuals. It talks about the system. The city needs to survive. It needs to adapt. It needs to grow, no matter what is the stress, what is the shocks that we experience. So me coming from India, India has been ranked the 6th most climatic change vulnerable country in 2018 index. The study of World Bank has told there are 600 million people living in these areas, and where is the severe hotspots of climate change in India. According to the National Disaster Management Authority, 56% of India is prone to earthquakes. About 40 million hectares is prone to floods and river erosions. 7,000 kilometers more on the coastal lines, and it is about 5,700 kilometers prone to cyclones and tsunami. And with this, I take about 250 million people live with about 50 kilometers of coastline, a majority of urban population. Now, a World Bank study has also shown that there is rising temperature and changing climate rainfall patterns from which the climate change. And in India, 2.8% of GDP and the living standards of nearly half the country population is being seen in 2050. This slide is definitely an important slide which shows the numbers, it shows the data, it shows in actual, it shows the time frame, and it shows also the prediction. What is the solution that we all can look for? We can look for more energy system. We can look for more ocean. It needs to be safeguarded. The food that we eat, it needs to be more healthy. It needs to be more environment. And the biodiversity. We need to take care of the biodiversity and limit the carbon emission that we all are facing. The land that we all need to take care of, the key role in the climate system, whether we talk about the carbon sink, we talk about the planet temperature, whether we also talk about the water, the inextricable link to the climate change effect, the health, how are we actually tackling the climate crisis, whether it's enormous gains in public health, and finally the greenwashing. Human security is also a major part in extreme weather condition. Women and girls are the main front lines of climate crisis, and they need to be focused more on investing on women. 1.5 degrees centigrade is what's the target, and this target was planned in 1900. And what are we actually looking for in upcoming future? Plastic, no to plastic, no, because plastic is very, very harmful. It's harmful to nature, it's harmful to human, and United Nations is focusing on to end plastic pollution. This is the majority of actors that I would like to focus on. How are we targeting 2030 SDG goals? Now, whether I talk about World Bank, I talk about Rockefeller Foundation, I talk about other actors that we are focusing on SDG. In India, it is Ministry of Urban Development. It is the Home Ministry. It talks about disaster management. It talks about academics. The Sentia framework, that is more of Home Ministry, that is a Department of Revenue. The urban local bodies, the communities that we all connect to, the Ministry of Earth, the mines. Finally, the resilient and sustainable development. What is the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy? What are we focusing on? Planning Commission, the Niti Aayog, the green financing, and finally the Paris Agreement that we all need to be focusing on. Now let's focus, let's target, let's think about climate. Climate is changing because global warming. Global warming is a major crisis because of mercury. Mercury is rising. Please understand, mercury is rising, and the thermometer, the temperature is being setting up to reach in such a way that we all are in a disaster. In what way are we saving ourselves from the greenhouse emission? How are we taking care of carbon dioxide increase? So this is the plan, and this is what the future says. And where, how will the globe look? So instead of green, shortly you will see our earth changing their colors to red shortly. So how are we actually focusing on that? Next is the greenhouse emission that we all talk about. That is the natural greenhouse. Now, the natural greenhouse definitely talks about increase in carbon dioxide. It talks about atmosphere. It talks about various fuels in larger communities, and also the climate changes in various factors of frequency with regard to heavy precipitation, rising sea levels, whether I talk about bank erosions, I talk about more intense and longer drought, the dry spells, and the decreasing crop yields, adverse impact on human health. So negative impact, reduction in marine and diversity. Resilience is what we all focus on. So India stands on SDG goals. We promote sustainability, industrialization, and by 2030 is what we focus. By 2030, we upgrade the infrastructure and retrofit industries to make them sustainable. Support domestic technology development. How are we actually focusing on GDP growth? In what way are we taking 80 million of people in micro, medium enterprises? 16% of the world's workforce is employed in manufacturing. How are we actually creating jobs, and in what way are we giving a solution towards it? Now, the next line is more on humanity. In what way are we focusing on rejuvenation and urban transformation? There is a study on urban renewable mission, and India is really working on smart cities project, and how are we focusing on. Now, let me show you a study which shows about the climate change of rainfall. So if you see a study which shows about climate change in the northern India, wherein it talks about Kashmir, it talks about Delhi, it talks about Punjab, or whether I talk about the southern India, I talk about Karnataka, Bangalore, Tamil Nadu, or Andhra Pradesh. So where are we seeing the rainfall, and where is the red part shown? The blue lesser than 5, the red lesser greater than -5, and the yellow between -5 to 5. So the study was executed in Crida in 2014, and this is what the prediction is being seen. Now, the same study we started on floods and dry spell. Now, when I talk about floods, I talk about how the system or how the consecutive rainfall has been occurring, and what is the future study that is being taken care. Next is the temperature. Now, temperature, as you see, the darker brown, it is the danger, and the yellow, it is 0.5. So if you see in the northern India, or if you see near the sea, that is more of Pondicherry or Chennai. And when I talk about the number of days, what is the scene? Now, the place where we see best to live and what is the worst area. So if you see, my country falls in the reddened part, and the Africa falls in the maroon. The green is Russia, China, the US, Canada, darker green, Australia, the darkest, and definitely there is no data which is shown in the gray area. So this is the potential of green infrastructure. So why I keep saying green infrastructure, it's because of enhancing green roof, encouraging multifunctional farming, more of wildlife overpass, the fish ladder, the reed bed, the biodiversity, the green wall, the nature forest, the wind flower, and many more. So the examples of green infrastructure goes on, whether we talk about street lights, whether I talk about trees, I talk about rain gardens, I talk about native plantation, I talk about parks, I talk about streets, I talk about biodetention or the green roof. So this study will help you all to understand where we all are and how we see ourselves in green infrastructure. Yes.
Because of how Boston is built, storms have different effects than in the suburbs and rural areas. Cities have lots of hard surfaces, like roads, roofs, driveways, and sidewalks. When rain falls on hard surfaces, it can't absorb into the ground. So it travels across the surface. This is called stormwater. As stormwater moves across hard surfaces, it picks up pollutants and litter. Catch basins in our roadways capture stormwater and carry it through a network of underground pipes called storm drains. Storm drains then release stormwater and pollutants into our streams, rivers, and the harbor. This damages our ecosystem and prevents recreational use. To help solve this problem, the City of Boston is building green infrastructure. Green infrastructure works to mimic the natural water cycle. Plants, soil, and other natural materials absorb water and remove pollutants before stormwater reaches our water bodies. Green infrastructure has many other benefits. It creates new green space, cools our neighborhoods, improves air quality, and reduces flooding. Green infrastructure comes in many shapes and sizes. Rain barrels capture stormwater from the downspouts on our homes. Green roofs, like Fenway Farms, transform asphalt roofs and catch water for garden beds that grow food. Bioswales in parking lots, like at the Sumner Upper School, slow down and clean stormwater. Plants and trees provide shade, cool asphalt, and prevent puddling. And porous paving materials, like the permeable pavers in Central Square, allow stormwater to pass through the surface, water tree roots, and absorb into the ground. For more information, visit.
So where are we focusing on? Sustainability. I talk about zero carbon, zero waste, sustainable transport, sustainable materials, sustainable food, sustainable water, natural habitats, cultural heritage, equity, and finally health and happiness. Where are we challenging? There is a funding gap for capital project, under representation of NBS in planning, decision-making frameworks, knowledge and data gaps on performance, need for national guidance for technical details, and finally the restoration or relocation. So green infrastructure definitely talks about physical damage. It talks about physical damage on roads. It talks about sewage and storm water. What are we looking for? We are looking for relocation. We look for disruption. We look for consequences, and we talk about environment contaminations. Finally, what are the challenges? Definitely urban heat, urban flooding. What are we seeing? The capital project? What is the planting and the green street projects? The incentives, that is the stress management, What are we seeing? The watershed protections or the transfer development rights? The coastal flooding erosions, that is the capital project, and manage the lee alignment and marsh restoration. Riverline flooding, that is the capital project, and landslide or unsafe stability. Now, before I conclude my presentation, I would like to show you how India has been growing and in what way we see our country to be in $4.2 billion. Just a minute, I will just show this video.
Infrastructure in India is undergoing a remarkable transformation. From expansive trade routes to cutting-edge technology cities, ambitious mega projects are being planned and executed that will redefine urban growth, sustainability, and engineering excellence. These projects represent not just physical development, but also India's aspirations as a global economic powerhouse. Let's explore 10 of the most impressive Indian mega projects currently under development, each contributing to the nation's infrastructure revolution in unique ways. Number 1, Bharatmala Project. The Bharatmala Project stands as one of India's most comprehensive highway development initiatives designed to enhance the national road network and improve infrastructure in India is undergoing as one of India's most comprehensive highway development initiatives designed to enhance the national road network and improve accessibility to towns and trade routes across the country. As a cornerstone of the government's strategic plan to integrate rural and remote areas into the national economy, this ambitious project aims to construct 26,418 kilometers of road.
Just a minute.
Infrastructure in India. 418 kilometers of roads connecting ports, border areas, and economic corridors through a seamless network. The project is structured in multiple phases, with the first phase targeting around 34,800 kilometers of road development. Beyond merely connecting regions, Bharatmala will significantly reduce travel time, enhance logistics efficiency, stimulate economic development in previously underserved regions, and generate substantial employment opportunities across the country. With an estimated investment of 6.22 trillion Indian rupees, approximately $75 billion. The project commenced in 2017 and is scheduled for completion by 2027. The massive scale of Bharatmala has created employment for over 200,000 people, including construction workers, logistics planners, architects, and engineers from diverse backgrounds. The project emphasizes quality and durability, utilizing advanced materials such as geotextile reinforced concrete and high-strength asphalt to ensure long-term sustainability. The economic impact of Bharatmala extends far beyond transportation. By reducing logistics costs from the current 13 to 14% of GDP to around 8%, it will boost India's manufacturing competitiveness globally while creating access to markets for previously isolated regions. Number 2, Chennai-Bangalore Industrial Corridor. The Chennai-Bangalore Industrial Corridor represents a strategic economic development initiative spanning 560 kilometers, connecting Chennai, India's automotive manufacturing hub, to Bangalore, the country's renowned Silicon Valley. This comprehensive corridor integrates specialized skill development centers, industrial parks, and sophisticated logistics hubs designed to foster regional economic growth. The corridor's primary objectives include modernizing industrial infrastructure, facilitating job creation in high-value sectors, and improving inter-regional trade through enhanced connectivity. Its development is expected to generate over 2.2 million jobs and significantly boost the manufacturing output of the region. Key components of this corridor include the Tumakuru industrial area spanning 9,884 acres, the Poneri node near Chennai covering 13,581 acres, the Outer Ring Road providing critical connectivity, the Bangalore-Chennai Expressway reducing travel time between the cities, and the Krishnapatnam Industrial Node integrating port facilities with manufacturing. These developments collectively aim to strengthen regional industries with particular focus on biotechnology, electronics, aerospace, and automotive manufacturing. Currently under construction, the corridor represents an investment exceeding 180 billion Indian rupees, $2.16 billion, and has created employment for over 100,000 workers, including construction laborers, urban planners, engineers, and architects. The project utilizes advanced construction techniques and materials, including high-quality concrete, prefabricated steel structures, and energy-efficient systems that minimize environmental impact. Once completed, the corridor is expected to increase the region's GDP by approximately 2 to 3% and establish southern India as a premier investment destination for global manufacturers. Number 3, Gift City, Gujarat International Finance Tech City. Gift City exemplifies India's bold ambition to establish itself as a global technology and finance hub. Spanning 866 acres near Gandhinagar in Gujarat, this futuristic city is designed as India's first operational smart city and international financial services center. The development features cutting-edge infrastructure, including modern high-rise towers, district cooling systems, automated waste management, underground utility tunnels, and a direct connection to major transportation networks. The International Financial Services Center at Gift City operates as a global financial hub, offering competitive tax incentives and a regulatory environment designed to attract foreign investment. The IFSC houses international banks, insurance companies, and financial technology firms, positioning India as a competitor to established financial centers like Singapore and Dubai. With a total investment of approximately 640 billion Indian rupees, $7.7 billion, Gift City represents one of India's most ambitious urban development projects. Initiated in 2011, significant structures have already been completed and are operational, including the International Financial Services Center, the Gift One Tower, and several residential and commercial complexes. The project has created employment for over 50,000 professionals, including IT specialists, financial experts, construction workers, engineers, and urban planners. Environmental sustainability forms a core principle of Gift City's development, with energy-efficient glass facades, advanced HVAC systems, and comprehensive fiber broadband infrastructure. The city implements a district cooling system that reduces energy consumption by 30% compared to conventional cooling methods. When fully operational, Gift City aims to generate over 500,000 direct jobs and contribute significantly to Gujarat's and India's economic growth. Number 4, Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. The Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, DMIC, is one of the world's largest infrastructure projects, spanning 1,483 kilometers between Delhi and Mumbai, India's political and financial capitals. This visionary project aims to develop a high-tech industrial zone along the Western Dedicated Freight Corridor, creating a model for sustainable industrial development. The corridor will feature 24 smart cities, multiple freight corridors, and specialized business hubs designed to enhance industrial efficiency, attract foreign investment, and reduce transportation costs. Each node along the corridor focuses on specific industries based on the region's natural advantages and existing industrial ecosystems. With a budget of 175 billion Indian rupees, $2.11 billion, for initial development, the project began in 2006 and has progressed significantly, with several industrial nodes already operational. The project has engaged thousands of skilled professionals, including engineers, logisticians, architects, and urban planners who have worked to ensure sustainability and efficiency. The construction utilizes advanced materials, including steel composite structures, and implements green building technologies to minimize environmental impact. The DMIC is expected to increase India's manufacturing output by $100 billion annually when fully operational, and create approximately 3 million jobs across various sectors. The project also aims to triple industrial production and quadruple exports from the region in the next decade. Number 5, Narmada Valley Development Project. The Narmada Valley Development Project represents India's comprehensive approach to water resource management and rural development. Unlike the previously mentioned urban industrial projects, this initiative harnesses the Narmada River Basin in Madhya Pradesh and neighboring states for multiple purposes, including electricity generation, water supply, irrigation, and flood control. The project involves constructing 30 major dams, 135 medium dams, and 3,000 minor dams along the Narmada River and its tributaries. The centerpiece of this development is the Sardar Sarovar Dam, one of India's largest and most controversial water infrastructure projects. The comprehensive network of reservoirs and canals will eventually irrigate 1.8 million hectares of land, transforming arid regions into productive agricultural areas. Spanning multiple states, including Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Rajasthan, the project will convert water-scarce regions into green energy hubs while significantly improving agricultural productivity. The estimated investment totals 790 billion Indian rupees, $9.48 billion, with foundation work commencing in 1979 and final completion expected by next year. The project has employed thousands of professionals, including civil engineers, environmental scientists, hydrologists, and agricultural experts. Beyond its physical infrastructure, the Narmada Valley Development Project aims to improve living standards for millions of rural residents through enhanced water security and agricultural productivity. Number 6, Mumbai-Ahmedabad High-Speed Rail Corridor. The Mumbai-Ahmedabad High-Speed Rail Corridor represents India's first venture into bullet train technology, aiming to revolutionize intercity transportation. This prestigious project will connect Mumbai to Ahmedabad, a distance of 508 kilometers, in just under 2 hours, compared to the current journey time of 7 to 8 hours. Utilizing Japanese Shinkansen technology, renowned for its speed, reliability, and impeccable safety record, the project will feature trains operating at speeds of 320 kilometers per hour. The corridor will include 12 stations, with approximately 92% of the track elevated to minimize land acquisition challenges and ensure operational efficiency. Beyond accelerating travel, the project aims to boost regional economic development, transfer advanced railway technology to India, and reduce carbon emissions by providing an environmentally friendly alternative to air and road traffic. The corridor is expected to carry 36,000 passengers daily initially, with capacity eventually increasing to 186,000 passengers. The project is estimated to cost 180 billion Indian rupees, $2.16 billion, with 81% of the funding coming through a long-term loan from Japan. Initiated in 2017 after agreements between India and Japan, the corridor is scheduled for completion by 2028. The project has created employment for thousands of Indian and Japanese workers, including construction laborers, engineers, and technical specialists. Construction utilizes high-quality steel, precision tracks, and earthquake-resistant viaducts to ensure safety and operational reliability. The project incorporates advanced noise reduction technologies and has been designed to minimize environmental impact through its alignment and construction methods. Number 7, Dholera Special Investment Region. Dholera Special Investment Region, DSIR, represents India's ambitious vision for developing next-generation urban centers. Planned as India's largest greenfield smart city, covering 920 square kilometers in Gujarat, Dholera will feature comprehensive internet-connected infrastructure, eco-friendly services, and extensive renewable energy integration, including solar farms. The city is designed as a sustainable development hub with integrated water management, waste-to-energy facilities, and comprehensive public transportation networks. Its development follows a carefully structured plan with 6 town planning schemes and specialized economic zones targeting sectors, including electronics manufacturing, aviation, defense, and renewable energy. The Smart City project costs approximately 200 billion Indian rupees, $2.4 billion for initial development. Construction began in 2015 and continues today, with significant progress on trunk infrastructure and several phases completed. The development incorporates sustainability-focused building materials, solar panels, IoT-enabled systems, and advanced water recycling technologies. When fully developed, Dholera is expected to host a population of 2 million, and generate employment for 800,000 people. The city will be connected to major urban centers through an expressway, metro rail, and proximity to international airports, establishing it as a major economic hub in Western India. Number 8, Central Vista Redevelopment Project. The Central Vista Redevelopment Project represents India's ambitious effort to modernize its administrative core while honoring its rich heritage. Based in New Delhi, this urban renewal project encompasses the redevelopment of India's central administrative area, including the construction of a new parliament building, the consolidation of government offices, and the enhancement of public spaces. The project aims to address the functional inadequacies of existing structures, many of which were built during the colonial era, now struggle to meet contemporary requirements. The new parliament building, designed to accommodate the expanded needs of India's democracy,
I think due to time limit, I should stop my presentation. Sorry, but I had to close on. Thank you. I didn't see your message, sorry.
It's okay, don't worry. Not just like we have to close like in around 3 minutes more to introduce the next speaker, but thank you so much, Ellie.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jyothi. That was a really brilliant presentation, and you give us a really clear picture of how catastrophic climate change can be and reminded us why it's so urgent to act now. I just wanted to quickly ask if anyone has any questions or comments for Jyothi.
Yes, I have a question.
Perfect. Go
Thank
on.
you, Jyothi. Thank you. It was a very insightful presentation, and I think it gave us a big panoramic about how I had a previous question, but I think you already answered. Like, how would you define urban resilience in the context of Indian cities? And I guess the last video show a little bit of how that is happening. But related to that one, I have another question, and is how can we know when a project of this type, because I think this is a federal project and it's a big one, when everything is very big. So how we can know when a project of this type does not fall into greenwashing? I mean, like I guess those kind of projects are going to help a lot of people in the future. But I would like to know if this is the way, because I can see as well, like it's like a kind of aspiration to a very developed country, and but I would like to know in the end what is the percentage of people that, I can imagine that is a lot, but the percentage of people that those kind of projects are going to help the people to fight against climate change or
Sustainability. Okay, thank you so much for your question. As I have only 1 minute now, I will cut it. I'll keep it very short. Basically, in India, it's about 60% rural area and 40% urban area. So the projects that I showed you, it's all urban development that's happening. And now I think things have changed because Smart City Mission has started in our country. So considering maximum population of our country as a rural, we need to actually focus on now when they are converting into urban, how we can make it more sustainable city. That is why I'm saying if they are moving out from their small place of rural and moving into a bigger city, we need to ensure that they are safe with environment, they are more connected with the nature, and also they are more resilient, because cities have been damaged. Cities have already been grown in such a way that there is no space to breathe. So in that situation, we need to think about tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We should not be giving more stress to the already existing developing cities. We need to focus on developing tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Okay, thank you so much. I guess we may have a little bit of time for another question.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I have just a really quick question, because I really like the rain gardens and the green roofs that you presented. Do you know of any such projects that are already happening, that are already being developed in India?
Yes, yes. So I was part of a project wherein it was an ITC Gardenia. It is one of the five-star hotels. So in there we had in the launch as a restaurant, there is a vertical gardens. So there we don't have a roof. It's just like a vertical garden and we have runner vegetations. So I think it's about 10 meters high. It is about 3-floor area and that area is so pleasant, so soothing with that vertical gardens. Trust me, there you can feel it's so nature friendly. So that is one of the project. And regarding green roofs, nowadays it's a mandate from the government that any building which is above 20 floors should have a green roof, should have a roof which is more sustainable, should have solar panels, should have a plantation above the roof, so that people who are staying near the upper floors can get good oxygen compared to the people who are staying closer to the ground. So that ratio has been worked out.
Okay, and that is you said that is across India, that rule for new
Yeah,
buildings.
so yes, across India, I would again focus on the 5 major cities: Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Kerala is a state. That's also growing, and definitely Chennai, Kolkata. So I would say these are the big cities in India. That is the tier 1 cities, and the remaining tier 2 and tier 3 cities is what I had replied on the first question. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Jyothi. I would like to ask you more, maybe next time.
Sure, definitely. I would come down. I have more. Actually, this was just part 1 of my presentation. I would love to continue in the second round if I get an opportunity again, wherein I would like to focus more on carbon emission and net zero. So that would be again, and I could show you the case studies as Kiki was mentioning. I can show the projects which I was actually working on. If you're okay, I think that would be more a great presentation to share.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
everyone for joining and enjoying the rest of your evening.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
See you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.